And welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the BIS podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network, where our goal is to bring you updates on local government, technology, and to mix in a little bit of fun as well. On today's episode, we're talking again about leadership. We have none other than one of our great leaders here at BIS, our managing director, Alex Sanders, joining us today. First off, Alex, it's a pleasure having you back on the podcast. We talked a lot about GIS, as a lot of people know. Alex heads up the GIS team as well here at BIS. That's where kind of he got his forefront going here before he moved into the his role as a managing director. And so, Alex, a pleasure to have you back on, man.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Josh. I really appreciate it. Like you said, I'm the managing director here at BIS, so I help oversee our GIS deeds development product teams and make sure that we're really headed in the right direction in those areas. It really, when I think about leadership here at BIS, I don't just think of it as a position or a title. It really is a responsibility. It's about influence, service, direction, helping people grow. Leadership really is how we show up for our team, our clients, and how we perform our mission every day here at work. So.
Absolutely, Alex. And again, folks, if you haven't guessed it, our topic today is, again, leadership. We've talked about it several times here on the podcast here recently, and hearing from Alex and going to talk into a little bit more of leadership and how Alex defines leadership in his role. So, Alex, how do you define your role as a leader at BIS?
I define my role here kind of in a simple way. I would say that my role is to create clarity. It's to support our team, our people, and help move our organization forward that we're in a way that reflects our mission, vision, and values. I know we've discussed a lot about those on the podcast and how those intertwine and through everything that we do day in and day out here. But leadership really at BIS, it starts with alignment. Our team needs to know where they're going, why it matters, and how the work that they do every day, how it connects back to the bigger picture. We're not just completing these tasks and delivering services for our clients. We're helping them simplify their IT needs. We're helping them do it in a way that reflects our old school customer service. To me, that's what means being dependable. It's being responsive, and it's being willing to do the hard work, truly serving the people well. Again, tying back to our values, our mission and vision of what we do here and why it's so important and how we reflect those in our leadership. I also see my role here as helping remove those obstacles from our team. A leader should not just assign work. A leader should make it easier for people to succeed. That might mean clarifying priorities, improving the communication, helping solve a problem, stepping in when a team member needs some support. That reflects our values of servitude. At BIS, leadership should serve that team, not just direct them and tell them what to do on a day-to-day basis. My role really is to help create that environment where people can grow, live out our values, and be a part of that mission to move BIS forward.
And Alex, everyone has different examples that they follow for leadership, or something that may work for them that it may not work for others. But in your opinion, what are some of the examples of leadership that you follow that help you through your day-to-day?
Yeah, I think a really good kind of leadership that I try to follow, the first example that really comes to my mind is that word that I said earlier, servant leadership. I believe the strongest leaders are the ones who ask, how do I help others succeed? That fits directly with, I think, one of our core values, their servitude. For us, leadership is not about the authority for the sake of authority. It's about responsibility. It's about making sure the people around you are supported, equipped, and encouraged to succeed. So servitude is a big part. Another thing that I like to think about, too, is just that leading by example. That accountability culture that we talk about. I do think the culture is built by that word alone. It's built by habits, actions, consistency, and really following through as a leader. If we want our team to be humble, we want them to have that model of humility. If we want our team to show the grit and how they really live out that grit and entrepreneurial spirit, that we have to create room for people to think, take ownership, and bring forward ideas. The value of that entrepreneurial spirit is especially important to me. At BIS, we want employees to feel empowered. We want them to think like problem solvers, not just task completers. We want them to take initiative, see opportunities, bring solutions to the table. That kind of leadership is really powerful because it creates momentum across the whole organization. It tells people that their voice matters, that their ideas matters, and really that their growth matters to BIS. I also value leaders who are really humble enough to listen to their team as well. Humble leadership, it builds trust. It creates that space for other people to contribute to ideas, to move forward. Like I said earlier, entrepreneurial spirit. People are going to bring forth ideas. They're going to bring forth new ways of doing things, and being humble enough as a leader to allow that space for them to discuss those and bring those to the team. It fosters a good communication and good organization. Here at BIS, we really want people to lead from every seat, and having humility is really essential into that. So when I think about examples that I really like to follow, I think about servitude, servant leadership, example-based leadership, being accountable, being humble, and empowering those around you to lead as well. All of that's really reinforced here at BIS, and it just makes a big difference being around that type of culture.
And going back to where BIS was founded, it always really has been a part of the culture of making everybody leaders. It always starts back with Britton Brandon, who wanted to instill that in everybody that worked for him. But in the last couple of years, Alex, we've really been, I think, hardening on that, or at least in the time that I've been here, and really hardening the fact that, we're just not employees here at BIS, but we're leaders. So why, in your opinion, do we strive so hard at BIS to make all employees feel like leaders?
I think it's something I care deeply about, because I do believe leadership should exist at every level of the company. And the 8 years I've been here, it's awesome because it really did start from the top. And Britton Brandon had that same sense where they wanted everybody to grow up with the company. They wanted everybody to feel that they had a piece of that pie that would make it successful, where it's not just Britton Brandon's thing, it's everybody's thing. It's a BIS thing. And that fostering really fed through everything. And I say it's created a great culture around here. And we don't want leadership to only live in management. We want that to be a part of, like I said, our everyday culture. We want every employee to feel that they have some ownership, influence, responsibility in the role or position that they hold. Our employees, they're on the front lines with our clients every day. They're on the phone, they're solving problems. It's one of the reasons we work so hard to make them feel like leaders too, is we want them to feel empowered to make sound decisions that they can quickly address a client issue. And when something requires a little additional support or help, we want them to have clear processes and all of those things in leadership so that when they come across something, they can follow that process. It really helps both client and employees. So entrepreneurial spirit, it really matters here. When people feel like leaders, they stop wanting to be told every next step. They begin thinking proactively. They begin identifying problems before they grow. They, like I said earlier, they bring forth those new ideas to the team. It really gives them a stake of ownership and feeling that they're a bigger part of this organization, and it helps them grow personally and professionally. So I think here we really want people to lead also with that humility, service of excellence, showing grit when they're challenged, and bringing that entrepreneurial spirit to the work in front of them. It's how we grow as a company, and it's how they grow as people too. So.
And you talked about it right there, Alex. Again, you've been with the company now for about 8 years, and you've seen a lot of growth here at BIS. Of course, a lot of changes. Again, you yourself have worked your way up. Again, a lot of people know that Alex is the go-to guy for GIS and manages the GIS team. But in the last few years, he's moved up now to the managing director role. So in your time here, Alex, what have you learned in being a leader at BIS, and how has that molded you now into your new role?
I mean, it's really, I think one of the biggest things I learned is one, consistency in big moments, being there, being held, that accountability is huge. But it also, leadership happens just in ordinary, everyday kind of moments during your day. It shows up in how clearly you communicate with your team, how well you can follow through that accountability, how you handle pressure, that our team, our clients know how much pressure they're in on every day. There's always something from a taxpayer, a client, something that both our team and their teams feel. It's how you treat those people during those moments that matter a lot. And over time, all of those small little moments, they build trust, and they trust in I think is one of the most valuable parts that a leader can learn from that. And I've learned that clear communication, that's the critical moment. People want to know what matters, where things stand, what success looks like. And without that clarity, even talented teams can struggle. So leadership has to provide that clarity as well. And I keep going back to this point too, humility. As a leader, you don't have every answer, but you need to be willing to listen, learn, make good decisions on what's kind of best for the team and the organization. Humility is really helping grow too. It keeps me open, keeps me teachable, keeps the focus of my ego out of the way, because I certainly do not know more than most of all of the GIS Deeds team, IT team. We have so many extremely talented, smart people, and it's fostering that to say, listen, I knew you have the answers better than I do. Let's work through those together and come to a good solution. So something else that I think really that I like is one of our values, and that's grit. There's always going to be seasons and leadership where things it's difficult. It's not easy. You're going to face pressure, tough calls, setbacks, growing pains with day-to-day, work that comes in. So having that grit really helps you, keeps you steady and continue to move forward. Stays you really committed to that mission, and even when the process is not easy, it's still there. So finally, sorry about that. I still got to take phone calls even during the middle of a podcast. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But finally, I've learned that when leadership is tied to mission and our values, it becomes more meaningful. It's not just about performance or results. It's how we get there, and the way that we want to grow and reflect of who we are. So we want to serve well, build our strong teams, pursue innovation across all of our departments, and our leadership's it's what holds all that together. It moves us together in the right way. So.
And folks, if you didn't realize that BIS is always available, I think that's a very good simulation right there. That Alex always has his phone on and ready to go just in case he needs to pick up the phone.
Right there, I'm ready to answer anything. So for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, again, Alex, I do appreciate you joining us on the podcast today. I know you're a busy man. And again, you can tell folks that Alex, stays on it, is really, one of our great leaders here at BIS that leads the team. So, Alex, before we close it out today, any final thoughts?
I would say leadership, it's not a responsibility. It's a responsibility. It's not just your role. It's your responsibility to be a leader in whatever position or in whatever you're doing throughout the day. And it's best that leaders are not focused on being the most important person in the room, that they're focused on helping others do their best work, to grow and give them that confidence, and together move that mission forward as a team. So if we could continue to do that here at BIS and lead with the humility, serve with excellence, empower people with that entrepreneurial spirit, stay committed to our mission and vision, then I believe the future is very strong for us. So I really thank you for allowing me to kind of speak with you today on this, and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of have some of these thoughts on leadership, and hopefully others encouraged kind of listen to this and see what they're doing and how they can be better leaders in their day-to-day lives.
And we appreciate you, Alex. Again, Alex is a very busy guy here at BIS, but we really appreciate him taking the time out of his day to join us here and talk with us about leadership. And Alex, again, thank you, man, so much for joining us today. And if you ever like to try and reach Alex or have any questions for Alex here at BIS, feel free to give us a call at our number, 800-247-9045. Well, again, folks, that will wrap us up today for another edition of the BIS podcast. We've been talking leadership with our managing director, Alex Sanders. Alex, again, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it. And you do such a good job with this. And I want to say it's a good show. You've taken this podcast over the last few years, and I enjoy listening to each and every one. Everybody always has valuable things to say, and how you pull that out of them and keep that moving forward. It's awesome to see. So I think you're an exemplifier of exactly what leadership means here at BIS too. So thank you for the time, Josh. You're awesome.
And I very much appreciate you, sir. And thank you so much for the kind words. I really love getting on here and doing this podcast and really kind of showing the folks what we all do here at BIS, showing the clients and always showing future, employees of BIS and looking in and, just showing what we do and how we, the big word you brought up out, serving others. And that's, I think, if we take one of the core values out, I think servitude is probably the biggest one that we dive into here at BIS.
Thank you, Josh. You have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. I really do appreciate you, Alex, for joining us today. Again, folks, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the BIS podcast. For Alex Sanders, I'm Josh Green saying until next time, so long and goodbye.